Thanks, you two, for joining me today. We're going to talk today about a little bit of cost analysis about reloading. Is it worth your time and effort as opposed to just going to a gun store or Walmart and buying your ammunition right off the shelf? When I got into reloading, I wanted to have options. I wanted to have that option that if I couldn't find ammunition from Walmart, because whenever we went through this crisis that we couldn't seem to go to Walmart or find ammunition to go out and plink with, or they'd only want to sell you 2 boxes at a time per customer, I wanted to have options. So I wanted to see how little I could spend reloading. Now, that initial investment, and we'll go over that in another video about your press and your dies and what kind of equipment you need. But I wanted to see what it would cost me per round to load my favorite cartridges, 9mm, 223, 45 ACP, and my hunting rounds, as opposed to what I could just buy strictly off the shelf. Well, what I found out is I could load my own ammunition with what I thought was better quality pieces than what I could just go buy some cheap ammunition right off the shelf from. So what I've got up here, I've got a spreadsheet up here that's kind of breaking down what these costs are. Now, I'm a Hornady kind of guy. I like their products. I like their bullets. That's just the kind that I like to load. So this is primarily what I use. Now, I know Hornady's a quality piece, and they're they're more expensive per se than some of the Zero bullets or other ones that you can find at some shops. But I broke this down. This first page is 9mm, 115 grain, round nose full metal jacket bullets. Now, I shoot Glocks, and I shoot a lot of polygonal barrels, so this is what I always use. I don't cast my own bullets at this time. I use jacketed bullets. So whenever I go buy Hornady rounds, they generally cost me here where I'm at my local reloading shop where I go buy my supplies, for around $12.99 for a bag of 100. Now that translates into about 12 cents per bullet. When I can find a Hodgdon Tight Group, a pound of that is usually somewhere around $21, $22, depending on what shop I can find it at. Now, there's about 7,000 grains in a pound of powder, and I usually load about 4.3 grain per bullet of 9mm. That's about 1 cent per round. And you can load about 1,627 bullets out of 1 pound of Tight Group. CCI primers, I usually buy those. Those are about 4 cents a piece. Now, here's where your cost can get out of hand, is brass. How many times have you went to the range and you've shot your brass and you don't pick it up? I found that to be a way that I can cut down on my cost, is because whenever I go shoot, I go discipline myself to where when I load a clip, I only put 5 rounds in a clip at a time. And when I shoot those 5 rounds, I pick up 5 pieces of brass and I bring them back home with me. So a little bit of cost, I have found, like on Amazon, you can buy once fired brass, or I have a local shop here that you can buy once fired brass. And today I looked this up and I could find for $135 you could get 3,000 brass cases, once fired brass cases, and that's about 4 cents a round. So if you have to buy all those components, then those rounds, now I think Hornady rounds, if you're going to build them, it ends up costing you about 21 cents a piece. That's not bad. If you look down at the bottom of this page, I went on, I think, Cheaper Than Dirt and some other websites where you could buy ammunition. Blazer aluminum case ended up being about 19 cents a round. American Eagle was about 21 cents a round. Blazer brass with brass case is about 21 cents a round, and Wolf steel case is about 19 cents a round. Well, I'm right in the ballpark of these less expensive ammunition. But if you save your own brass, or you pick it up from a range when you go, and you recycle that stuff, and you can keep using pistol brass as long as you don't load it to the max and stretch it really bad, or it cracks or whatever. I know it has a shelf life and you can only use it so many times. But if you inspect your brass and you pick up your own brass and bring it back home, you can cut those rounds down to about 17 cents. Now, those 4 cents don't seem like a whole lot, but after you shoot 1,000 rounds, that ends up being quite a bit of money. You can do a little bit of figuring that way. But 1,000 rounds using my own brass ends up being about $170. Wolf steel case at 1,000 rounds is about $194. So you save a little bit of money, reloading that way. But the thing that gets me the most is the accuracy, and the better I feel whenever I walk off a range, because my bullets and my loads work. I come off the range and my targets have good tight groups on them, and that's worth it to me as far as reloading goes. Now, sure, it takes time. It takes a lot of time until you get some processes down, and you just have to want to do it. You got to want to spend the time to do it, and some people don't have the time to reload. That 4 cents that they can spend extra around, it's worth them just to go pick up the ammunition wherever they can, go shoot, and be done with it. But I get a little bit of satisfaction whenever you load around and you put those things in a 1.5 inch, 2 inch group. That's worth it to me. I've tried boxed ammunition. I've shot it before, and honest to goodness, my rounds to me make better groups. Takes a little practice, takes a little time. You've got to pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want to hurt yourself, blow your gun up or anything like that. But whenever you put that bullet together and you put it in that pistol and you shoot 5 rounds down range, and they're in a good tight group, it's a sense of accomplishment. So next, let's talk about 223. I know 9mm and 223 with an AR, those are really popular rounds right now. So let me throw up some information about that. All right, so 223. Here I've got a little bit of analysis on Hornady 55 grain full metal jacket boat tails. This is what I shoot out of my AR. Now with this particular round, I've used Accurate 2230 powder. Again, there's 7,000 grains in 1 pound of powder. You don't usually get 1,000 rounds out of it, because you've got to put so much more powder in those. But you can get right around 300, I believe, 250, 300 rounds. So if I have to buy used brass, you can look down through that cost, and they cost me about 29 cents to load. If I pick up my own brass and reuse my brass, it costs me about 26 cents per round. And I got some prices off the internet today. Tula ammo, about 30 cents a round. Silver Bear, all this stuff's out of Russia. It's 28 cents a round. Remington UMC box, that's about 38 cents. American Eagle, about 40 cents. PMC bronze, about 41 cents. Now here's something that I found out about my last outing at the range with my AR. My hand loads are so much more precise than some of this cheaper ammo. I bought a box of Tula, some Remington UMC, and my hand loads, and believe it or not, the Tula ammo was more accurate than the Remington. Just blew my mind. I mean, the groups were so much tighter. Now, I'm talking about, inside an inch of each other, but, I like to shoot for precision, when I can. And my hand loads were so much better than either one of those. Then there again, I know it's your time that you've got to take into consideration. But, it's a sense of accomplishment. And plus, I don't have to worry about, I can build these rounds, put them in my gun case, put them in my, store them, whatever I want to do with them. And I don't have to worry about if I want to go shoot tomorrow, is Walmart or whoever, are they going to have these rounds for me to buy and go shoot at the range? So, I know it's a lot to think about, and I know you have an initial investment as far as equipment goes. But I would encourage you, if you're thinking about reloading, yes, it's worth the price. It's not a great deal of money that you save, but you're not limited to what you can find at the store. That's worth it to me. And then the accomplishment of, building a good round, putting it in your weapon, putting it down range, and it be very accurate. That's worth it to me. So I hope this helps a little bit with, somebody who might be considering buying some reloading equipment, whether they want to get into it or not. But remember, one of the most expensive pieces of the bullet that you're going to find is the brass. So pick up that brass. Don't toss it. Don't let somebody else have it. Pick up your own brass. Even if you just think that you might have some inclination of, starting to reload down the road, if you go shoot now, pick up your brass. Take it home with you. It don't go bad. There's no sense letting somebody else have it. Or, most of these ranges pick it up, put it in a barrel, and send it to some reloading manufacturing company that, they give them money for it. You paid for that brass. You pick it up, you take it back home with you. So I hope this helped a little bit. Thanks for joining me. Subscribe to my channel. We're going to have some more videos coming out soon. I'm going to do one on, try to put one together about initial equipment, what you need. Like I said, I think I said earlier, whenever I started to reload, I wanted to see how inexpensive, I should say, that I could get into reloading. You don't have to go out and spend $400 on a Dillon press. You don't have to go out and spend a huge bunch of money. I think my initial investment with what I bought, I actually bought my first little press off eBay, and I think I spent right around $120. So I'm going to put that up, show you where we're at now. Like I said, thanks again for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.